Hi, welcome to our first broadcast of the Builder channel with Aziz. And Aziz, why don't you tell us what we're going to be covering today?
Cool. Yeah. So what we were gonna do is a hyper personalized landing page starter. If you're familiar with Builder and the Next.js, we do have an example for building landing pages with Builder. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a new functionality on top of it that uses Vercel's middleware functions feature uh, to hyper personalize, either have multiple domains on the same page, or personalize by country, by city, or anything that is available within the context. It should look something like this. And
Okay, cool. Let me add that. Yeah, so this is a diagram of the architecture of what we're going to be building out, right?
yeah, exactly. So what we want to do is uh, whenever a request comes from a specific domain, from a specific device, or anything that we can gather about the context, it comes to the edge, and on the edge, we read all those context information, we hash them on the URL itself, and pass them to a static path handler. Static path handler in Next.js is basically the double bracket path file that generate pages on the fly and place the right content from builder to the right audience. We will test it and you'll see.
Hey, can you, by the way, click where it says hide? StreamYard.com is sharing your screen, just so that we can get that out of the way. Yeah, so that's for everybody who's watching out there. We're using StreamYard to broadcast this live. But anyway, to get back to this diagram, so the idea is, what kind of things can we use to? You said that we can use some kind of factors that are going to go into the edge, and then that's going to get put into the hash. What are some of the types of things we can use to personalize our content?
So by default, Vercel exposes tons of things. I think the domain, you can read that. It's on the host header, or actually, this is an express feature. You can read the domain. But the city, the country, the locale, the geo information, we can take a look at the interface together and see what's available. But the goal is to as a first pass, we want to target by domain and target by city, since we're both in different cities. So it will be cool to see the same URL renders differently for me and you.
And before we do that, I just have a question that came up right now. Like, is this similar to the custom attributes targeting feature in Builder?
Yeah, it is. It will utilize the custom targeting attributes.
Okay.
And so custom targeting attributes, this is something we need to use from Builder, but is how to gather those information and send them to Builder, like the domain, the city is the one that we're gonna do now. And how to do it in an efficient way, like on the edge.
Got it. Okay, so that's where the real magic is coming in. It's about the fact that these edge servers in Vercel, they're getting some extra information that we can then use for those custom attributes, targeting attributes, right?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, why don't we take a look
All
at the
right,
code?
so as a start, we will use the Next.js simple starter, and this simple starter doesn't have any personalization logic. It's just a static landing page generator. It hits build for the URL and it shows it right away. We will assume knowledge of this. So if you're like super new to the whole thing, I would recommend checking out the tutorials. We should share the link of there is a tutorial on our docs.
Yeah, and this starter that you had just mentioned, what is that? Is that something of that Builder provides?
Yeah. So it's on the Builder.io open source repo, and it's the starting point for this example. The Next.js simple. So what we want to do to start is first fork this repo. Do you see my command line?
Yep.
make tire broadcast.
So we're just going to clone this starter, basically, right?
Cool. So we're gonna clone the repo and go into the starter and do make our changes.
And for anybody that's following along, this is Builder's main repo that has all the like Builder SDK, various Builder packages. So the starter is actually like a subdirectory within the repo.
Yeah, maybe we should just copy it.
Yeah, Builder examples, Next.js simple. Cool. Let's see.
Now we have this example. Let me do git init. Now we have a init on it, npm I to get the rest of the. While this happens, let's go and create a space in Builder that we can connect.
This isn't something that we can just use the CLI tool. By the way, Builder has an awesome CLI tool. We can't use that to spin up a new space.
I think I am not sure. I don't think this needs like a specific. Usually, we leave. You can definitely use the CLI for that, but usually this is for like complicated starters. If it's just a page model, like what we're doing now, you can just go and press new here. Or let me take a look at that. I have so many spaces.
Aziz, you're the king of spaces, man. What's going on?
So many examples.
For those of you who don't know, by the way, Aziz does a lot of work with. Oh, yeah, cool. We got the link on screen there to the starter. Aziz does a lot of work with customers doing this kind of customization stuff. So you guys are learning from the best right now.
Thanks, man. Don't have me up. Let's hope this works. All right, so we are in the example. Let's open the code. And maybe add our API key to the development and to the server, to the production as well. And I think this is really all we need. Let's do npm run dev. It should give us 404 because we have not published anything. Copy the localhost URL and go back to Builder.
So just to be really clear, what you're doing is you're going to localhost, and then that's running like a Next.js instance, and it's trying to pull some content at the root URL from Builder to render that homepage, but we don't have a homepage yet. We haven't created anything. That's why you get the 404, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm gonna do is gonna allow previewing directly on localhost, and create a new page. Remove the auto. Cool. And this did not apply. Command P. Actually, if you want to touch on this, you can press Command Control A, and you should see this localhost.
Oh, interesting.
1000. And now I can preview directly on my localhost. If I drop in a text, say.
That was Command Control A that pulls up developer options. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a secret menu inside of Builder. I mean, it's not that secret. You can use it if you're using Builder, but it's not too well known. It's a power feature for sure. And what did you use that for?
Just to override the preview to point to my localhost, and it will eventually show up. This is, I think, statically generated with some revalidation. We can shorten the revalidation here, and it is short already. Cool, it should show up.
Oh, I'm learning new things about Next.js as we go along. I didn't realize you could set that timeout.
Yeah. So this is a cool thing about statically generating. It will revalidate. So when the first request come in, it will re-render it, and then once every 5 seconds, as long as there is a request coming.
Ah, clever.
Cool. So now we are just gonna add the middleware, and we're gonna use a library called personalization utils. First, I wanna check the Next.js version here. Make sure we got the latest.
Did Next.js finish rendering that homepage, or is there something wrong?
It was taking forever, so I just stopped worrying about it. It will eventually render.
Okay.
It says there is an error. Maybe that's why it didn't render. Oh no, it is. Okay, homepage. Cool. And I'm gonna do npm ls next to make sure what is the next version we have. It's 11. So let's do npm I next at latest, and let's add builder.io / personalization utils also at latest.
So what are these personalization utils that you're adding right now?
Just a few functions that we will use one by one on the middleware side and one on the static path handler side to detect personalized rewrites and get those targeting values from the rewrites and show them. I know that's a lot at once, but it's basically this one. You're going to use the util on the edge and on the path handler to get the targeted values from the edge to the path handler and pass it to builder.
And you've also been mentioning, I noticed, something about middleware. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the middleware is the edge function.
Gotcha. So that's what's going to pull the raw data about our personalization from the edge, the server, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So here is what we want to do. Under pages directly, we're going to add a new file. We call it underscore middleware, and this is Next.js syntax. And maybe we go back to the docs on Next.js middleware and copy like the form.
So you're just gonna like, is this you're just gonna write the code right now? Do we have like a code sample for this middleware?
And so I got a code sample from the Next.js code base. It's just basically a hello world example. I will use it to add my code. But first, let me see if the installation is successful. So I got next at 12, and yeah, cool. Let's go back to npm.
Oh yeah, Aziz, sorry, real quick, I meant to ask you, can you increase the size of the text on your terminal? It's a bit hard to read for some of the viewers. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, how about the code text?
I think that's good.
All right, awesome. So yeah, let's get that going. We have our personalization utils, and what we want to do is get the personalized rewrite. And the personalized rewrites it can expect an object that looks like this. Builder.user attributes, whatever, maybe domain, and the domain. The reason is we wanted to namespace the cookies because we also, you're going to see we're going to utilize cookies to save data or override those data so we can test it in Builder. Well,
okay, I gotta pause you for a second because now you're starting to lose me. So this get personalized rewrite, I get that it's going to be getting data when it runs on the edge server from the request, right? And then it's what is it rewriting exactly? How is it putting that content or that that information about like country or city or whatever into the request that then gets forwarded onto Builder? What's happening there?
Yeah, no problem. So what you're gonna, let's see, let me continue some example here. Folder, builder user attributes dot city sf. This is gonna transfer, make the rewrite to slash semicolon URL path, whatever the URL path that the user is passing, and then it will be semicolon domain equal to the domain here, and city. Basically, a URL segment that we can parse it back to an object on the path handler side.
And then where does that part with the object that you have on line 5? What is that referring to? Like what's the variables that?
Yeah, those are the variables that would go into calculating the content placement. So if we say we want to have different pages per different domains, that means you should send those domains up to Builder so Builder can send you the matching content.
Right, but is this going to take the form of like, because I understand the second part that you wrote. That's the that's going to rewrite the URL, and that's going to go to Builder, and then Builder's going to pick up, parse that query string, right? And then it's going to get that data. But what you wrote before with the builder.user.attribute, is that like from a cookie or what is that exactly?
Yeah, it is a cookie.
Okay.
Let's get cookies from js-cookie. We probably need to install it. js-cookie. Cool. And this middleware, because it's on the top, it's gonna run everywhere. So we want to exclude some stuff. Excluded paths. I think maybe anything that's going to the slash API will be excluded. Anything that goes to, I actually have a list in my stuff.
What are we excluding here?
The five icon and API. Cool. So we say here, if let's get the URL path, which is request.next URL.path name. Cool. And we say, well, if excluded prefixes dot find where a prefix where our URL path that starts with prefix. Not fine. So if nothing starts with slash API and slash 5 icon, that means we should try to personalize it. And let's get the rewrite. It will make sense once I'm done with that part. The rewrite is get personalized rewrite. The first part is the URL path. Second part is the cookies. But it's not just a cookie. It's an object that looks like this.
I see.
It's gonna be cookies.get. Now we got all the cookies, but we also want to add the domain. And we get that from request.headers.get host, maybe we will check. Then we want to get the city as well, builder.user-attributes.city. And this is in request.geo.city.
And this is coming from Versal?
Yeah. It's coming from Next.js. So Next.js, it makes this interface available for you within the middleware. And one of the cool thing about it, it gives you geo information, IP information, user agent information as well, and you can even in the user agent information, check if it's a search bot or maybe sometimes you want to build a landing page specifically for search engines versus specific device. And I think there are more to that, but for now, let's do domain and city. And we say, well, if rewrite, what was it? Return new response. We need to find the add declaration module to this. But let's go to the middleware, Next.js middleware. It doesn't tell you where would you import the response.
What are you looking for? Oh, this response function?
Yeah.
Or constructor?
I have an example, working example here.
Nothing like some good old Stack Overflow at this moment.
Oh, yeah. Tell me on it. So you get the rewrite and you get the next response from next response.
Oh, it looks like it's coming from next server.
Yeah. So let me do import next response. And I'm gonna say const response for the response.next and return response dot okay, so we would want to return the response regardless. Cool. Okay. So it's always expecting a response, but we only do the response dot equal to response dot create. What was it? Dot rewrite. Cool. Yeah. And the rewrite, it expects a destination, which is the rewrite here. And maybe make it slit. So you either go to the next one if this is not personalized. So maybe we call those maybe we call this destination similar to what Next.js has called it.
All right, let me pause right now and because there's a lot of code, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this who are like, "What just happened?" So let me try to recapture what's on the screen and see if I can explain it myself. Okay, so imagine that we're going to a page, right? That's like a builder page, and it's hosted using Next.js. Whoa, what do we get there? Do you want to show your code again?
Just so we can I want to hear it first.
Oh, you want to test me? You want to test me? This is the teacher. The teacher is testing. I don't get to look at the textbook. Okay, so we have this. We have a request that's coming in to our website, and it's going to be hosted on Vercel. Then it's using Next.js. So Next.js now has this middleware, which is what we just created, and we're pulling this data from the cookie that's inside of the request, right? And also the domain, and then we're putting it into using the get personalization tools or whatever library that was. We're using the function from there to then rewrite the request URL, and that request URL has the information that we've pulled from the cookie and from the Next.js request. And then now we're going to use that inside of Builder. Do I have it right, more or less?
Yeah. Yeah, so we just did the first part of the, let's, if I go to the, here, we did this part. Once Figma loads, okay. Yeah, we did this part, hashing by context, reading the context information and sending it to the path handler. We're gonna do next is the path handler itself. And yeah, let's continue actually doing that right now.
Okay.
So for the path handler itself, all what we want to do is get two functions from the personalization utils, and it's get targeting values and is oh yeah, and then export the is personalized rewrite. Pretend you didn't see this, and next up releases it will be right there, but I forgot that I didn't release it, so it's gonna be test slash is or get personalized rewrite, and it's called is personalized rewrite, is
And
personalized.
this, right? So this is the page handler that we have from our starter example, and this is pulling content from Builder and rendering it inside of this page.
Yeah. So now that we did, we are sending URL path that look like this: semicolon URL path equal domain equal city equal. We want to translate this to a targeting object that we can send with Builder. So here we want to say const, and it's not necessarily all requests are personalized. So we want to test if it is personalized. We say is personalized path, and we pass the params dot. Actually, this is the path. So we say const path equal, call it URL path, same as our SDK. And if it's, now we want to figure out the targeting. The targeting, we either target by URL path alone. So if is personalized, it's gonna be the get targeting value of the params page. Params could be undefined as well. And it actually expects an array. So because this can be undefined, we want to add the default value. Otherwise, if it's not personalized, it's just bring it by the URL path itself. And here the user attributes would be the targeting object.
And for those following along, user attributes, that's how we send custom targeting attributes to Builder.
Cool. So there are other things that we can do. There is like a right-click handler that allows you to override some of those targeting attributes by a right-click and some configurator, but those are optional. I think for this pass, we are done. Let's see if we messed up anything. I think the first thing we want to do is add the types for the JS-cookie. And I'm gonna go and create a repo for this on my account.
Yeah, because we have to make this live, right?
Yeah, we want to connect it to Vercel and see if. So I want to add a new one.
How do you pronounce it? Is it Versal or Vercel? I should know this.
I call it Vercel, but yeah, don't quote me on it. Honestly, anything with pronunciation, just don't copy. All right,
Maybe someone from them is listening and they can correct us.
cool. So we got this starter repo, get status, get add dot slash. First pass.
I know I'm hiding in the background, but it's for sale.
Shout out to Alex, Alex Patterson, CoderCat Dev. I should have done a round of introductions, actually, by the way. My name is Ashton, and I'm a developer advocate at Builder. Alex
Patterson, also a developer advocate builder.
Yeah, and Aziz, you have a new title.
Yeah, I am the lead solutions architect at Builder.
Nice. I didn't even know you had an updated title. Cool. Congrats. I'm going to go back to lurking. Good job, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
So we just want to change this to main so we don't get conflicts. And let me get push origin main. I'm going to do npm run build just to see we didn't mess anything up. And what is it? Type null is not. And that's in the middleware. String or null. Let's give it a default value. npm run build. Should only build one page. We haven't added anything yet.
So we're building the site statically generating using Next.js, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So now I'm gonna go to Vercel and deploy this code. If I go to vercel.com, I already signed up, and we can import it and hit deploy. This will take a minute. While this happens, let's go and add the custom targeting attributes to builder space and start building some content so we can differentiate.
Sure. Can you, by the way, hit hide real quick on the StreamYard.com is sharing your screen?
This one?
Yeah.
It's kind of
annoying. Back? I don't know.
So we add custom targeting attributes by going to the account settings, account/space, and you should see it here. It's gonna block you saying you need to sign up, but you can always just start trial and you have 14 days for that.
So this is with our starting with the growth tier. Is that what normally includes it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's a growth tier feature.
Cool.
And let's add domain. And it's an enum. I do have a domain registered with Builder with Vercel called Headless Builder. So I'm just gonna add a couple of subdomains under it, maybe like 1.headless.builders and 2.headless.builders. Save that. Oh. Now,
by the way, sorry for everybody. We do have a demo video of how to use custom targeting attributes. I'll include that.
I don't think it. Maybe I missed committing my API keys or something. Yeah, it is. But yeah, that is fine. We in this case we can just go to the deployment here and go to the settings, environment variables, and add builder public key. And add. Oh, now we go to the deployment and just redeploy the last one. Awesome. And let's create a couple of contents. It should be like a kind of a testing bed and builder. I'm gonna create, my first homepage. Gonna be on your root. URL path is here. I'm gonna add a target for the domain, and this domain, it's just gonna be for the one.headless.builders. And I'm gonna add a text saying one.headless.builders homepage. We can use any of them. It makes sense to have something like renders. Cool. And we publish this. Let's duplicate and see.
So that's going to be targeted by that domain, one.headless.builders.
Yeah. So eventually the goal of this test is we're gonna go visit the same deployment from multiple domains. You can connect multiple domains in Vercel. And for each one of the domains that we visit, we get a different content.
I see. Cool.
And we're gonna go this 2 headless, and I'm gonna change the targeting from 1 to 2. I just duplicated the first one.
Do we have any customers, by the way, builder customers who are using this in production for like a useful use case?
Yeah, absolutely. For some reason, it's still 404ing even with that. So maybe I test my build. It's probably think it's still requesting Webpack stuff, even though this is a production build. So I'm just gonna do npm -p 1990 here. Yeah, I can reproduce. Let's go to the code. So npm run dev, and in the code, in the middleware, say console log. Here destination is, and destination, while on the static path handler we console.log targeting and is personalized. Cool. And let's see why this is not finding any content. Let me change the npm -b 1990. Have a ghost service worker on the 3000 port that somehow. Cool. So the city is empty and the domain is empty. No, the domain is localhost 1990, and the URL path. Okay, and targeting is okay. Cool. Yeah, I know what's the problem. Let's forget about this for a second because we're always sending the domain, and we're just gonna.
So we're just going to always assume that it's being personalized for this demo. Was that message?
I think it was this new function that I added just before the. Let's keep the console logs. Commit -m fix build. Of course. push region main. I think this would fix it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to Vercel and add those domain 1.headless.builder and 2.headless.builders, and you do that by going to the project, the podcast project, settings, domains, and I'm just gonna 1.headless.builders. But that is a mistake. Cool. And I'm gonna add 2.headless.builders. Awesome. And if I go visit 2.headless.builder, assuming that the deployment is done, which I don't think it is, still building it.
To be clear, these are our own domains. Builder has these domains already set up, so you would need to set up your own domain if you were going to test it this way.
Yeah, and I set them up using Vercel, so it was super easy for me to add those subdomains. If you noticed, it was just a press add. It took last time 1 minute 20 seconds, so we're looking at 15 seconds, and we should be good to go. Which put me right on time because I have to leave in a minute.
This is debugging live.
Yeah. Cool. And let's refresh. And here cache as well. Why?
Who knows?
See what's going on here. Champion dash B. So it's writing to city with URL. And
as long as URL path is being set in those user attributes, that should be enough to load the homepage, correct?
yeah, that should be enough. Let's do some console log. Pretty sure I'm missing something elementary.
Maybe we should also console.log page to see if any content is coming back or if it's null.
It looks like it is null in this case, so.
Yeah, probably. So for anyone following along, we're not able to get the content downloaded from Builder, which suggests that the targeting attributes are not being matched. And we're trying to figure out why.
Oh, okay. So it's only sending
that's strange.
The city targeting is city.
Oh, it's the property is called semicolon city and the value is semicolon domain. I don't think we want that.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. So let's take a look at why is it this way.
Something in that parsing function, I think, is messing up.
So you get the cookies and get targeting values. Let's see. Path.sort.
Yeah, this is totally like a Bill Gates Windows 95 crashing moment right here.
It's a,
It's a
we
it's
can
okay though.
rewrite it. And the key one. Okay. And I'm still feeling weird about this because there must be a bug on the other end.
Didn't we have an old version of this that was working, Aziz, without the? It had like a hackier version of the function that it did work.
Yeah, it did work. We do have it somewhere on the AP. It's fine. I think this will actually solve it.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
Look at the geode city, and we split the key, and we decode the URL, the URI. Okay, let's see what's it like here. Oh, I know why. We should have encoded in the middleware. Actually,
So
I
we're
think
back on the middleware side. You're going to encode before you rewrite the URL.
with URL segments. Yeah, we do actually encode, so that is wrong. Values. Oh, yeah, that's why. So the syntax was a bit messed up. Let's. If I looked at the example in the repo, I would have solved that. But it's this one. Get parang.page. And that is the right targeting. We can double check as well.
I know, Aziz, you're short on time.
Yeah.
Think we'll be able to get this? Pull one out?
Yeah, I think we will be able to get it. Get status, get add pages, and for anyone following, this is the only diff that you need to fix, which is just passing the first the split by the delimiter. We should make this actually straightforward in the library.
Sure. Yeah, so all that debugging that we were just doing, you don't have to worry too much about it. It looks scary, but really all that we were simply doing is trying to clean the data coming in to the Next.js page template. We were having some trouble there parsing the query string on the URL after it had been rewritten by the middleware. But we're going to fix the library so that this is done automatically for you, so we don't need to worry too much about it.
Cool. Let's see the deployment. It started just now. It will take a minute. Just to recap what we did on the builder side while this happening, we have a homepage that applies to all, and we have that homepage that applies to all. It's gonna show when you're visiting from a different domain than the one we specified. And then if you're coming from 2.headless.builder, you're gonna see the page that's specifically for 2.headless.builder at the URL path root, and the second on the 1.headless.builder. So if I go to deployment, be there any second.
Oh no, we have an error.
What did they do? Cannot read property 0 from undefined. Let's rounds to the page $.0. Oh yeah.
Is it building now? Did we get a new build
Yeah.
started? Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to deployments and see.
Cool. Building. Are you able to stay for just a little longer, Aziz, so we can get this?
Oh no, I have to leave. I have to leave. I'll give this a minute. I think it will work. If not,
If not, c'est la vie. The real life of a. This is fun though. This is our first, live exercise for Builder, so people are seeing like this is what it really takes.
I just want to mention too, I'll pop it on the bottom of the screen, but if you ever have any questions about things like this, you can go to forum.builder.io and you can reach out to us directly and we'll get your feedback right back to you, and we should be able to do a video like this again. So thanks.
Yes, absolutely. And also I'll post an invite link to our Discord as well.
so right now I am visiting from a domain that's not specified, so I will get the generic one. If I go to one.headless.builders, I should see the one.headless.builders homepage, and if I go to two.headless.builders, I should see the two.headless.builder homepage, and those are completely separate content. So yeah, this is how you combine multiple domains in one code base in one builder space. And this the same technique apply to cities, countries, locales, anything that you need to read from the environments and start building a content placement strategy around it. Anyway, this is really fun. I have to go.
Okay, thanks a lot, Aziz. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Great job, Ariston.
Okay, thanks a lot, Alex. Well, thanks everybody for listening. That was as quick as we could do a demo of content customization, personalization. And yeah, stick around for next time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already there. We're going to be doing these every week, hopefully. So, okay, take it easy.